Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Curry, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. I'm sorry that I didn't release one on Friday, so let's call it the Friday episode. Then I'll release another one to later on today, and then that way we'll be all caught up in terms of episodes. I'm really excited to be making this one because on the weekend we went out for dinner, and we're now doing this on a regular because there's a concept that I was talking about a few weeks ago, and I'm now putting it into practice within my life because if you break up your time within your relationship, it's broken down into 4 sections where you get your resources. So that's the time where you go to work and so on, and then you got logistics when you have to deal with the kids, cooking and so on, and then you got sleep, which is, so all these are non-negotiable times that you cannot do without. So usually when it comes down to your family time and your relationship, you only have anywhere between 6 to 10 hours per week. So it's really important then to maximize those 10 hours. So really avoiding stuff like cooking and cleaning and so on. The more you can avoid that and spend more time together, then the more you can be nourishing every time you do. So you can show up in that sort of positive frame of mind, So it's something that we're doing within our relationship, which we're doing on a regular now. I know it's not for everyone because obviously there's a cost involved, but the how much would you pay to have a good relationship? That's the question. So it's not if you look from a money perspective, it's money well spent. So anyways, we ended up at a restaurant, and while we're enjoying our time, we're playing games. At the time when we were over there, we're playing Uno. So we're all enjoying our experience until a group of men came as well, and then they were sitting close to us. And as we were having our dinner, one of the gentlemen walked out. I think he was going to have a smoke, but the other one was there. So he started telling a story, but it was a story that was really, really explicit. It was an earshot of my daughter. And I didn't quite hear what you were saying, but I didn't feel as comfortable because it just sounded like you're saying something really rude. So I was trying to listen in so I can gauge what's going on until his friend came back in, and then he started trying to tell the story again. But when you started trying to tell a story, his mate was looking really, really uncomfortable. In fact, they were both looking uncomfortable, the friends that he was trying to speak to. And they were uncomfortable I think they were uncomfortable because obviously there's a 11-year-old girl that's on the side, and what he was saying was massively inappropriate. So as soon as I thought I've heard enough of this, said, excuse me, and I'm now trying to talk. But my wife this time was already shaking with anger, like, how dare you speak like this, right? So she just bubbled over and then took over from there. And instead of me speaking over my wife, I just sort of took a step back, obviously made eye contact to the guys, and allowed this thing to play out where my wife just laid into the guy, and then the guy was apologetic, said sorry, I shouldn't have done that, he was not aware, and so on. And anyways, I didn't, and again, it was important for me not to minimize the thing. So when he said sorry and I was apologetic, I still kept the frame of I'm annoyed. I didn't acknowledge him saying sorry. Of course, I didn't want to escalate it more than that. But at the same time, I didn't want him to feel like it was okay. And it was important for me to behave that way so my wife feels like I'm on her wavelength. Because if she's laying into him, then he says, I'm sorry. Then I said, okay, yeah, no problem. That would have been bad. So again, it's those interactions where the fact that I was willing to step in, it gave her the door to then do all of that and try and resolve. Well, she was just trying to vent out the frustration, basically. Her emotions had taken over. And this was important because that opening that I made for that to happen was a dominant stance. And it was very important because it was squarely in the ability to protect side of things, which gave her the most attraction towards me, which was really amazing. But at the same time, when I was analyzing my own movement, I was thinking maybe I stayed too long. I allowed you to go for longer than I should have. So that was my part where I thought, you know what, I could have really dealt with this pretty quickly sooner. to be fair, I couldn't hear what you're saying, but I know that it was inappropriate. I think as soon as I had that inkling, I should have just stopped him right there. So I'm saying this because when I teach about dominance and so on, when I say ability to protect, most guys just go, this is a bit, it's crazy, ability to protect. Why do I need to show the ability to protect? But these moments present themselves all the time. And she will judge you based off of that. Now, she doesn't look at you and say, okay, this guy has got ability to protect. She has to feel a sense of safety around a negative situation like that. That, okay, if shit goes down, my husband has it under control, And it doesn't have to be that you're going to be in a physical fight, but it's the fact it has to be the fact that, social situation that is negative impact on what's going on right now, and then you can resolve it. So you're prepared to get into a place where you can in this case, I was protecting my daughter from hearing something that was really, really rude and explicit. So again, that when being able to, or having that initiative to want to resolve that will be a lot of points that you score from a dominant stance. And you have to be willing to put yourself in those situations and allow those situations, because if I didn't and I just cowered away and didn't do anything, can you imagine how my wife, if my wife had felt the need to resolve that situation by herself and then we walked, how would she feel about me as a man, especially in terms from protecting perspective? She would mistrust me as a man in terms of protection. And that is very bad from a sexual standpoint. And I want you to think about that, because a lot of you guys, you focus on seduction, you focus on touching her up, you focus on trying to dine her and wine her and all these other things, but you miss out on the biggest part of attraction, which is you need to have the ability to, or at least demonstrate that you can protect her and your family. And when you can do that, that is more powerful than any dinner you can buy or any ring or any jewelry that you can buy. This is what makes you have frequency of sex, gentlemen. And I can guarantee you, in terms of the trust factor, she trusts me more because she knows that when shit goes down, I'm willing to handle it. So I just thought I would make that point so you can see why when we teach about dominance, it sounds so crazy and out there, but it's probably one of the most important parts, where you presented with opportunities every day and you don't recognize them and you miss them out, and it really forces her not to trust you. Like, you're teaching her not to trust you consistently. And it's a scary part, because a lot of guys, when they say, I've tried everything, no, you haven't tried everything. In fact, you've tried everything but show dominance. So again, you have to be able to willing to do something like that. So I just thought I wanted to share this with you, because I think for me personally, I thought, when I started thinking about the whole situation, how it played out and so on, and looking at it from the thriving tribesman lens, I thought to myself, wow, that's exactly how we should be behaving as men. We should be able to protect our partners, our children, not just that, but even in a situation where your wife is not present, you're still willing to do the same regardless of what the situation is. Now, it doesn't have to be only the ability to protect, but it's other sides of things where you can make decisions by really having good strategic thinking, or when things are going wrong, have good resilience. It's all being able to, believe me, I'm going to speak in another episode that happened. So another thing happened last week, Friday, where I had to use resilience and then show you why resilience is very important within a dominance perspective as well. So there's so much good that comes from learning to be dominant. And when I say dominant, you can swap that name for masculine as well. So just wanted to point that out and get you guys too fired up and seeing that, there is light at the end of the tunnel, or at least of the sexless tunnel. So, and the way through this is really starting to figure out, how do I become more dominant within my relationship? When you can do that, I can guarantee you will have an amazing relationship. Thank you very much, guys. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.